changes soon. Can get a doobie on a plane, but there's Uzis in our schools. Every dude who touched a boob or a booty getting me too. What you expect from the kids who went to Hooters after school? We're all triggered and defensive. We're all racist and we're sexist. We all grew up watching South Park. How are we offended? Now being fat is beautiful. Name a thing that you can't do. Jumping jacks, run a mile, live past 42. Man, it used to be cool to just flip a bird to the system, and now it's trendy to be triggered and pretend you're a victim. It's my race, it's my weight, it's because I'm a Christian. I hate the internet and anyone who has an opinion. And everybody angry if you say white. Okay, fine. Pass me the brush and I'll paint my face to the shades right. Let's talk about abortion. Sorry, tell me how this works. Bacteria is life on Mars, but a heartbeat isn't life on Earth? Weird. Y'all so stupid. Why are y'all so stupid? Get better problems, I swear to God that y'all want them. Y'all so dumb. People so stupid. People so dumb. People so boo-hoo, wah, wah, wah. Get better issues, we're gonna run out of tissues. It's so dumb. I'm a hater because I can't relate to gay pride. Call me homophobic because I don't want to date guys. K-tight. I, for one, am not surprised the world declined along the way. Give trophies to children for losing just because they decide to play. We exercise our right to vote and hate the politicians. Ay, this is a democracy. It's partly your decision. Ay, this is weird. Feels like this a different year. If I identify as a female, then when my balls and penis disappear. Children want a gender switch and hating men is feminist. Depression and anxiety are trendy. We're too sensitive. Invented 80 genders. Mad the world is not accepting it. Then gave them more attention than normal women and men can get. What a contradiction. Being human is so tragic. Focus on minorities, ignoring all the masses. Hallelujah, everyone. Activism saved the planet. No more plastic straws and paper, just paper straws wrapped in plastic. Congratulations. Y'all so stupid. Why are y'all so stupid? Get better problems, I swear to God that y'all want them. Y'all so dumb. People so stupid. People so dumb. People so boo-hoo, wah, wah, wah. Get better issues, we're gonna run out of tissues. It's so dumb. Look, I get it, it's like the world is going crazy. Seems like a school shooting happens almost daily. The racism, rape culture, hatred that we're facing is way too ingrained for our hashtags to change it. We've become so lazy and complacent, afraid of our generation. We think activism's Instagramming memes and complaining. It's a problem when there's actually actions you could be taking, but you're triggered, so you just cry like a baby. Y'all so stupid. Why are y'all so stupid? Get better problems, I swear to God that y'all want them. Y'all so dumb. People so stupid. People so dumb. People so boo-hoo, wah, wah, wah. Get better issues, we're gonna run out of tissues. It's so dumb.
We on?
We on.
We on. Fuck it. Oh. What up, it's your boy Marco from Upside Down Studios. It is What the Fuck Wednesday. I'm here with, we just gonna call her Jesus.
Jesus.
That's retarded.
Yeah, because the first couple of names that I thought sounded cool because I know you personally, just sounds bad saying out loud. So, you know.
Oh, shit.
Damn.
Now I'm intrigued.
Well, first was, you know how I call him Big Sniz? I called you Big Joyce. And then I was like, no, that's bad.
Nah, I'm down.
Yeah.
Nah,
because
I remember
you know, yeah, I was considerate of that. And then there was something else. There was something else that I said, and I was like, no, that's not very flattering either. So right now it's Jesus.
Jesus.
Jesus. We got motherfucking Big Sniz in the house.
What up?
And we got motherfucking Greg on the ones and twos.
What up, y'all?
And we here. Supposedly everything is opening up, guys. Me and Big Sniz caught a great show with Obsidian Earth the other night. Little hometown local band that doing some things. They sounded real good. I think their cover of Holy Diver could have went a little faster. But
Yeah.
I mean, hey, you know, everybody got their own shit. It wasn't bad. It
wasn't bad. They really did try and blur that line between the two different versions, between Dio and Killswitch Engage. Yeah. So I saw where they were going with it, but that was the first time they broke it out live. So you know how that goes too. As a performing artist, you know the first time you break something out isn't the best. It's supposed to get better and evolve over time.
Right. And I mean,
it was definitely. I mean, and it was still good.
Yes, it was very good.
But I agree, there were a couple parts that, just personally, I might have liked to have seen go more the Killswitch way when it went the Dio way, and vice versa. There were a couple parts of the song where I thought maybe it would have sounded better to do the Dio, but
see, it reminded me of
who
when
knows,
I was
when they're
younger.
getting feedback from the crowd, you know, bands do the same
when
thing.
I was younger and I used to DJ down at the bars and I'd have to do karaoke and shit. I used to love the Bob Seger song "Turn the Page." Well, when Metallica came out, I'm showing my age. When Metallica came out with "Turn the Page," fucking loved it. But I will never forget that first time I tried to sing "Turn the Page," and I just got done listening to the Metallica version, but I've never sung it, and I've like it kind of mixed the whole thing up.
Yeah,
and Jared's right. You know, you gotta refine things. You gotta, you know, once you're doing it, it's
They
part
had
of
a
the
good
art.
show,
It's part of the
though,
art.
man.
Yes, it was. Yes, it was.
And Howie is always an animal on them drums,
Oh,
man.
dude, I love Howie.
He's just insane. He even looks like a fucking serial killer,
Yeah.
like when he's drumming, bro.
Like when I look at Howie, even when we bullshit and stuff outside of the shows and stuff, like I see him at the flea markets a lot. He reminds me of like, remember Grape Ape?
Yeah.
The way he used to just walk around like he had the big friendly smile on his face, but he always looked like he'll just fucking stomp on you.
Yep.
But nicest guy in the world, nicest guy in the fucking world. Yeah, great show, and halfway decent venue. Pretty nice slot. What's that place called?
Social 22.
Social 22 down in Struthers, Ohio. That was actually the second or third
show.
time we went down there.
That's the second show we've been
Second.
to.
And they were real nice people. They greeted us nice. You know, they
Good service. You know, typical.
I mean,
little city
nothing
bar.
real big. You know, just something to step out for a minute and you know,
Nice place.
Yeah, good people. I mean, you guys got to check it out. Let it be known. So, yeah, we checked that out. Check out Upside Down Studios Facebook page. We have clips of that there. I try to go live, but again, you know, I'm getting a big fuckaroo by a Zuckerfuck. It should be on. It might not be because I just charged it, though.
It wasn't.
So, yeah, even though, you know, I figured out that we could just, you know, if I can't do it live, I'll just do it and record it and send it back on. We got anything we got to hit on before I start on my bullshit?
Nope.
None. All right, so I guess this is where we're going to start with this. Fuck Zuckerberg. I totally get, and I hate, as much as I hate to want to support it, it's just the way it is. It's his platform. I get that. You know, it's Facebook's platform. Whoever owns it runs it now. So you got to abide by their rules, fair or not. But that does not mean that we can't say fuck you to him. He has the right to do it, but I can still say fuck you. And I would really like to know why I'm getting fact-checked on wordplay in an article that makes things taken out of context, and not for the couple of posts that I put up purposely that said Joe Biden was in the military, and Joe Biden, you know, all this good stuff that were lies. That, I mean, they were blatant lies. It's silly. You can just read it. None of it was fact-checked. Not a fucking one. Not one time did it get struck. No little eyeball with the line through it or any of that. No little under it. Well, check out this post has stuff that's not, you know, all that shit. Not a one. But the first time I got hit with my 25-day ban, which was supposed to be not null and void because they supposedly agreed with me on that one. It was a poster, and it had a donkey on it, and it said the new symbol of the Democratic Party, and it had a, you know, stars going down the side and a swastika in the middle, and it was red, white, and blue. Now, meaning it was, they try to say I was trying to promote Nazism or shit like that. No, I'm just saying that the Democrats were acting like Nazis. Look around, people. So
I didn't say you were a bitch. I said you were acting like a bitch.
I
exactly.
said I didn't have a bomb.
So on that, I got a 30-day ban. Even though they were supposed to lift it, they never did. So now, 4 years ago, because I put down 2 years, but after doing the math, I realized, fuck, we're in 2021 now. So in 2017, on 4/20, which is Hitler's birthday, I put up a post making fun of Hitler. It was a black and white picture of Hitler sulking in the corner with a birthday hat on, and a birthday cake with one candle on it. And he looked like one of them little kids with the dunce caps in the corner. Making fun of a bad person. 60-day ban. Promoting Nazism. So I disagreed and I asked for a review. They reviewed it and they still think it's promoting Nazism. Dude, if you don't like what I say, be a man about it. You know, Facebook automatically goes back to Zuckerfuck. So you and the rest of your people who are constantly in Congress, you know, trying to defend yourselves or this and that, just say, hey, we don't like what you say, so we're gonna we're not gonna let you say it. You know, people would respect you more. People wouldn't be going to Parler or all these other fucking things, or you know, just dropping off of your fucking platform if you just came real. Just say, look, this is our shit. If you don't like it, get the fuck off. I would respect you more. Because you're blatantly saying, don't beat around the bush. Oh, this is community standards and we're trying to stop the spread of this. Motherfucker, I got both them fucking pictures off of Facebook.
Right?
Both of them.
And once you start getting banned, you'll get banned more and hit for more shit because then then they are watching your shit.
2017.
Yep. Yep.
And that ban started 2 days ago.
The shit you directly take from somebody else's page gets flagged.
Well, I got that week ban or it was 3 day or a week. I think it was a week. For quoting verbatim with quotation marks on it. Joe Biden. I quoted him verbatim. I even said, these are Joe Biden's words. Nope. And you know what the quote was? Black kids are just as good as rich kids or educated kids or some shit like that. Poor black kids are just as good as the rest of the kids. That's pretty fucking racist to me. You know, what? And I mean, it wasn't even like something that was like a big divide. It wasn't like, okay, you know, Chad is better at water polo than Akeem, because then you could have just switched it around and be like, yeah, but Akeem could kick Chad's ass in basketball. You know what I'm saying? No, it wasn't nothing like that. It was like, you know, all you people think that these black kids are fucking down below here, and I think that too, but I'm going to just let you know that these black kids are just as good as regular. It was regular kids. That's what he said. Regular kids. Poor black kids are just as good as regular kids. What the fuck? They're all regular. What the hell?
I saw a commercial. We were watching one of the streaming platforms that you know can do their live programming, and they put commercials in. But anyways, watching a commercial, and I forget what the product was, but the gist of the commercial was they were out on a back deck, and it was a group of people. They were like a party or a little get together, and there was a black couple, and they made sure that they showed them. They made sure that they showed an interaction between one white person and the black couple, and then the rest of the time, there was like a little built-in bench on the side of the deck. The black couple was on that bench the rest of the commercial. And the rest of the group was over at the table in the corner. The opposite corner of the deck. And it just, because of how this subject is, you know, so in the forefront now, and how companies talk about how they're actively making, you know, the strides for diversity. I looked at that commercial and was like, what the fuck? Like, literally, yeah, they have an African-American couple on there, but they're they're by themselves. They put them over off by themselves.
In the cheap sheets.
What kills me is, and you're right, I haven't seen that commercial, but I've seen other commercials that just blatantly, you know, you might as well just take this shit down. You are not making a better look for black folks.
No.
You're not making it look like you care or anything. You're making it worse. You're making it look worse because you're overstepping. It's like, I got 3 black friends. I'm not racist. Shut the fuck up. You just told on yourself.
Right.
You know, like, here's one.
Like I tell everybody, I got a Cuban friend, so I can't be racist.
There was a commercial out there. I forget for what insurance company it is. But in this commercial, it's a black couple and their kids end up coming in, but they have a tag team, the rap group from back in the day. And
I love that commercial.
They come in talking about insurance and shit, and all of a sudden they go into this stereotypical mad like rap fucking dancing and shit. Scoop, there it is. And they got the black dads dancing like Carlton.
Yeah.
From back, like, you know that. Kids are coming in like, what the fuck is going on? To me, right there, why couldn't that just be like a regular, like that, you know, the squirrels fucking slapping hands and the black guy saying, you're not covered until you have Allstate. Now, what was wrong with that? What's wrong with it?
I don't see your point with this commercial because this is an awesome commercial.
Which one? The Scoop
The
there
tag
it
team
is?
one.
I don't think so. I think that looks more racist, stereotypical racist than anything. I don't think it was meant to be racist, but it's stereotyping shit. Like, why? Just because they're black folks, what if they like country music? What if them black folks like fucking, you know, metal? You know, what if that fucking little girl came in the house with a fucking Pantera shirt on and be like, Mom, what the fuck are you listening to?
That'd have been a cool commercial too, but I just don't think I don't think
it's
that.
Stereotype, just like your commercial, putting them over here. It's stereotyping. Black folks. Here's another one. Al Madrigal, a comedian, talks about it. There was a commercial from Applebee's, and they had a $20 appetizer or whatever. It was like a big ass fucking, you know, plate of food. That was just the appetizer. So they showed this white couple picking up their black couple friends, and they're talking about how they're going to Applebee's, how things are going to be great. And then they say, yeah, we're going to get a $20 appetizer. And the black couple looks at each other and jumps out the car. Because they didn't want to pay $20 for an appetizer.
I never saw that one, but...
First of all, obviously they're on the same level there. So they can pay for their own food. Second of all, why are you trying to make these people look cheap jumping out the fucking car? And then, you know, they never showed anybody stopping and be like, oh my God, are they okay? Are they this? No.
Well, I think you're reaching a little far there for the...
Well, that's the joke that the guy made.
The comical part of the whole jumping out of the car. I mean, I don't know. I guess
just
it
see
could
more
be
and more
perceived
they're
that
adding
way,
black
but
folks in where they didn't need to be in.
I don't think...
I think the real joke there is the fact that they weren't going to tip anyways. Aha!
Boom, boom, ching.
Yeah, I said that. It was a joke.
Well, you can't joke no more. You can't joke at all.
I did find out that people do still laugh at German oven jokes.
Yeah. I got video proof.
What?
German oven. You ever know?
Yeah.
Did I tell you the
Baby
whole?
Jew ovens.
No, not baby Jew ovens.
Marco was like, not baby Jew ovens. What are you thinking?
The whole thing is you don't ever see anybody with a German fucking oven in their house. You know, we got Magic Chefs, we got Toshibas, we got, you know, Craft Made, all of that shit. You know, but you don't see Farfignugi in the kitchen.
Farfignugi.
So the one night I looked it up, and you know, there is 2 German companies that make
They're really
ovens.
expensive.
Yeah, one's $17,000 and one's like almost $20,000. And the whole joke of it is the only people that can afford the German ovens are the Jews.
That's funny.
Yeah, I got told by so-called comedians that I should never say that joke, that it will never work and fly. Well, I had a whole crowd of fucking people laughing on that shit.
Yeah, it was pretty fucking funny.
And that's the thing, man.
But I'm white.
Again, it's like that song says. You know, these kids were brought up on South Park and Family Guy and some raw, silly shit. And now you have Mr. Potato Head.
Hasbro did reverse that and is keeping Mr. Potato Head.
Because he didn't have a dick anyways. You know, he could have been transgender off the rip. Because there was a Mrs. Potato Head and it looked identical.
Right, like...
That's because he was white.
No, he wasn't.
He was
Mr.
tan.
The
Potato Head
racist jokes just keep coming.
No, Mr. Potato Head was not white at all.
Oh, he was Chinese.
Peruvian.
He was yellow skin.
You look a little
He
Peruvian.
was a yellow potato.
Oh, speaking of the skin color thing,
that one ain't
and it
that
goes
one
into this whole advertising thing.
put mine
Can
right
you
here.
tell me why Crayola felt the need to make colors of the world crayons? And don't even put the race on them. Now, they're implying that it's about race, but like black people ain't black no more. They're dark or deepest dark almond.
Oh, stop it. Deepest
I
almond.
am golden almond, or what was the other one that came close to it? Yeah, me and Maya are golden almond. Golden almond.
Listen.
What am I?
White under the bottom, because the top half is a totally different color. Well, I don't know. You've been on COVID lockdown, so you showing your real whiteness.
We're getting out of winter. The next time I actually shave my legs, I am going to be like
Raw
Liquid
chicken.
paper white. Raw chicken.
yeah, no. What is it? What's that stuff you spread and to make up for mistakes?
White out.
I just said
White out.
Liquid paper white.
Yep. White out white. That's what I is. I'm like I could be like fluorescent.
I just don't. And did you see, like, Caviezel, Superman, got the boot? Yeah, he's no longer Superman. The kid who played Killmonger, who is a very good actor. He played an excellent part in Creed and in Black Panther. Yeah,
All because he's dating.
Carano, the chick who they booted from The Mandalorian.
I know who she is.
Yep. That's a fucking bullshit. And now, again, there are plenty of black superheroes. Why can't you fucking put a black man in a black superhero? You're gonna chase Superman, who is just like apple pie to America.
Right.
I don't.
To a black person.
See, that's the thing. I don't agree with changing things like that. But I do agree with telling the story of the other superheroes.
Yes.
You know, they're
yes.
just as awesome and they can be just as popular. They just have never been put out
And for
there.
you ignorant fucks out there who think that they just did Black Panther,
No.
Blade has been there forever. So has the Luke Cage, and actually the very first. If you look into the comic story and whatever the fuck you want to call it, canon, the very first Captain America was black. A lot of motherfuckers don't know that.
I
shit.
did not know that. But see, I'm not super like
Well,
into
now,
I'm into the
books
comics.
themselves-
I'm into the comics enough that I have read some form of. I know all of them have alternate universes and this and that, but I have at least read the comics and know the basic story, like the real comic story, and I do enjoy the movies. But I'm by far not like
now and this was before
one
they
of y'all.
branched off. Now, they didn't start off that way, but after I think the first year or two, when they started getting deep into the Weapon Plus program, which ended up being Weapon X and became Deadpool and Wolverine, but people don't realize that fucking Weapon 1, Weapon I, was fucking this black dude. I forget what his name was, and then from that, like, things didn't go as well as they wanted it to. So from that, they went to the Captain America, which for some ungodly reason slips my mind right now. What his real name? Not Bucky. What the fuck is Cap's name?
Steve Rogers.
Yeah, Steve. So Steve Rogers was actually Weapon 2. Now it
Well,
didn't
see,
get found out.
there's a great movie, a great backstory to tell where they don't have to make a change. They can tell the original story.
That's the problem. They don't fucking keep it that way. Now, I will say, two times they changed the fucking person, and I totally agreed with it, and it was the best of shit. The original Nick Fury was David Hasselhoff. Terrible.
Yeah, terrible.
Terrible. So, I told, Samuel Jackson, he defined Nick Fury. It was like he was the only Nick Fury because Hasselhoff just was not Nick Fury. Get your ass in the Trans Am and roll on.
And I forgot about that till you just brought that up. But you're right. Holy shit.
Now, the second one that got switched up that I think did an awesome fucking job The dude from Green Mile, they put him as Kingpin in Daredevil with Affleck.
Yes.
Because in the comic books, white or black, whatever the fuck, Kingpin was this huge, massive motherfucker. Just this and that dude fit the parts.
Perfect. And I as far as, even though he was a pretty big villain, he wasn't so iconic that it mattered.
Who, Kingpin?
Yeah.
He bled into a lot, but the thing is,
No, I just meant
why he didn't
it's not
matter
like it's not like changing Superman.
Yeah, you're right.
There's a difference. Like the whole, you know what I mean? It
Yeah, I totally get what you're saying. I mean, it's a different thing. You know,
with
not too many
Kingpin,
people.
it didn't matter the skin color. What mattered was the actual person who was going to fill that role. And sorry to say, in certain roles, that does make a difference.
Yes.
But it works in every direction. I don't want to, there's roles that are supposed to be filled by black people because of the story it's telling. I don't want to see a substitute the other way.
Right.
I don't want to see a white person in that role. I'm sorry, I don't.
Taylor Swift playing Storm in X-Men. How the fuck would that work? You could not put a white girl in Storm's place. Storm came from Africa. Okay, well, yes, you could say South African.
No, you can't change that.
No, you can't do it.
I don't want to see it the other way.
But I bet you if they tried, all fucking hell would break loose.
Oh, for sure.
All hell would break loose. Which, that's not equality. That should tell you there you shouldn't do it the other way either.
Want equal rights, but special consideration.
Yep.
No, they don't want equal.
And that's any group.
Equal rights is
that's
bullshit.
Any of these.
Nobody wants racism to go away. They just want their turn.
You're right. You're right.
Rob that shit
It's human nature. It's human nature, and we keep getting back to that. We are built. We are designed. Like, since the beginning of time, even if you want to go the evolution route and not the creation route, even if you want to go that route, look at our primal ancestors. They kept evolving and they kept taking from others.
Exactly. It's survival of the fittest. There's no other way of saying it. There's survival of the fittest. You know, there's a reason why there's certain predators on this earth that have been here for millions of years. They are the apex predator.
Right.
The easiest way to take that predator out is to take away their environment.
Sharks and crocodiles survived when dinosaurs didn't for a motherfucking reason.
Exactly. You know, just like there's the tigers. Tigers lost their fucking teeth because shit got easier to hunt.
Right.
Lions were around. Nobody talks about them. Why are lions around still? Because they don't give a fuck. You know, there were wild dogs back then. You know, everybody talks about the fucking the brontosauruses and the tyrannosaurus. You know, all the typical dinosaur things. Mm-hmm. But if you really want to dive into that whole evolutionary part, there was other animals there. You know, we know that the fucking birds came from pterodactyls and shit. But nobody explains how they got feathers.
It's not like overnight all the dinosaurs died and pterodactyls were gone, and then whenever later birds just appeared. There was they coexisted, and some survived and some didn't for a fucking reason.
You know, if you want to believe that, and now it's a lot of evidence stating that it wasn't that the dinosaurs grew feathers. Dinosaurs, a lot of them had feathers. That was that was what they were. Now, a lot of them lost their feathers, not the other way around. They didn't grow feathers, over evolution. They lost a lot of feathers in evolution. And that's what we have, only the pterodactyl and the pteranodon, and there's one other. There's only 3 of these flying things, supposedly, that were around dinosaur time. How much horseshit is that? We got fucking millions of species of birds. We got birds that we ain't even thought of yet. And don't think these birds ain't fucking each other and making new birds just like every other species. So you're going to tell me there was only 3? There was a pterodactyl, a pteranodon,
if
or whatever
it fits,
it is.
it's happening.
Yeah, that's it. There has been like cross-species fucking animals that just happen naturally. There's a lot of people did, but I mean, just like, what is it called? The liger?
Yeah.
Yeah. The lager was not man-made. You know, there's another one called the Chimera. They took the word from a mythical thing, but they call it a chimera. It's a breed between two other animals, maybe birds, huge, like big-ass birds. But that motherfucker had, this bird fell in love with that bird or sniffed that bird the right way or found an egg and whatever you want to believe, them two mixed.
It happens.
Just if you go into, what was it, what dog was it? They were bred to fucking go hunt Jewish fucking people in like holes and shit. Was it the Min Pin? It might have been the Min Pin, and there was another dog, the small. They were bred that way. Those just didn't come up. People made them.
Right.
That wasn't in nature, but the whole point is,
like
there's a mixture of shit, and you can't just say there was this many species of this and this many species of that. You can't do that. You can't. That is just totally impossible to say. You just like you can't say that there will never be a white-black person. There's albinos. You can't say there won't be people with red eyes. Albinos have red eyes. You can't say there's not going to be a black person with blue eyes because he ain't got blue eyes, but he got bright fucking gray eyes. They almost look white. My grandson, I got a granddaughter with two different eyes. She looks like one of these lizard fucks that, that people talk about. I mean, you can't rule out, like, certain things just it's just logic. I don't care how much science you want to throw at it. Science, a lot of times, is just there to fill the holes that we can't explain. Because gravity, even though everybody believes in it, everybody thinks that that's just some real shit. Gravity's still a theory. We all know it's here. We all know what goes up, it comes down. But there is 1,000 scientists with their theory of why gravity's here. There's just like the whole flat Earth thing. For years and years and years and years, you would get killed. You would get killed if you even said that the earth was round. That's blasphemy. Jesus in the Bible and God made the earth and the firmaments and he separated this and that and all this other bullshit. Science back then told us that the earth was flat. Then all of a sudden science said the earth's round. But then also, science says that we never made it to the moon, so we wouldn't know if the earth was round. But then science said we did. Science says that we can't fucking, hear anything or that the space is a vacuum. But astronauts, not scientists, astronauts, the people who actually did the fucking dirt, say that it's bright as fuck out there and there's noises and shit floating around out there like it's a goddamn ocean. And it's documented. These are real fucking astronauts. One astronaut says he saw angels. A whole group of astronauts heard music. Another astronaut saw fucking snakes, and other astronauts corroborate the snakes. That is the one thing that's corroborated. There is some kind of snake-type being that actually floats around in space, and it's there. And more than one set of astronauts from around the world have witnessed it. More than one have witnessed the sounds. There's a certain, I forget what country the astronaut came from that saw the angel type deals. He thought he was dying. Certain astronauts hear banging on the outside of their fucking ship. And, it's not debris hitting the ship. They said it was like a somebody wanted in type knocking. These are astronauts. Now, mind you, also science tells us that we're spinning so fast that all these particles, if they hit a certain thing, they should go right through it. So, we'll take away from the machinery. We'll take away from all, because, there'll be plenty of people saying, well, there's this metal and that metal and this shielding and ceramics, all that shit. I've looked into it. Let's look down to the bare basics of your suit. Your suit. That suit is made of a material that insulates, but also has to let you breathe. Has to be movable, henceforth it's a material. But that material will not stop a bullet, a 22. It will not stop a 22 bullet, let alone the speeds that are supposedly calculated of the debris that's spinning around the earth. So how the fuck is this shit there? Scientists made that shit up, maybe? I believe we're spinning at a certain rate and being locked into this whole... It's like writing your name on a baseball. That ball will go anywhere. That ink is staying on there. We don't know how. Ink just sticks. That's just... The ink sticks. That's just it. So, now, that is staying on there no matter how much you spin it, no matter how much you don't spin it. That was my biggest thing with these people with the flat earth shit. Well, if you're spinning that fast and you're not doing this, then how are you stuck to the earth? Take a fucking ball and write your name on it and spin it around. I can't explain it. I don't know why that ink stays on there. But I do know other shit don't. There's other shit that, like, if you pour water on there and spin it, it's going to fly off. If you pour this and that on there. So, again, whatever's keeping us here is keeping us here, but there's no science telling us what the fuck is keeping us here. It's just the theory of gravity, which stops at a certain line that gets changed every so many years in space. We were always told growing up, the moon was in outer space, correct? The moon is not in Earth's atmosphere, correct?
I don't know.
Right.
No, wrong. And I even mentioned this on a show a few years back. There are now, I don't know if if it was new back then, or if they're just running with it, like, a Mandela effect type deal. But the moon is in Earth's atmosphere. Well, wait a minute. Even at its thinnest point in Earth's atmosphere, people could breathe. That's how that dumb fuck could go all the way to the edge of the atmosphere and jump off and shit.
Right.
So that means you could breathe on the moon. Not only that, but that means also that the moon is a lot closer than we were always told.
Well, here's my question. Even when they went to the moon, did they shove somebody out the ship to see if they were able to breathe?
No.
Okay. So we don't really have proof that you can't breathe.
Exactly. According to science now.
Okay, everybody, we're going to start a GoFundMe so that Upside Down Studios can go to the moon.
Actually,
and test this theory. We'll shove Scotty out of the spaceship and see if he can breathe.
See, this is the silly thing about what you just said.
$7?
The silliest thing about what he just said.
I got 7 on that.
We can't get him to the moon, but we can get him to Mars. Because Elon Musk is starting commercial flights to Mars.
2 weeks.
So that'd be some shit. I want to see if the Israeli fucking general was right. I want to know if Corey Good was right. I want to know if all this shit is real. Because I mean, honestly, if you open a door for a second, you can't just instantly die. If you stick your hand out, you can't just, except for, what is it, Venus? Venus, I think, is on fire. One of them are on fire. So, yeah, you might be fucked in there.
Yeah, I'm on fire!
And then one of them has acid rain, like sulfuric acid rain. So, we might be kind of fucked on that one, too. So, aside from them ones, I mean, we got a couple of them that are really, really cold. We got a couple of them that are warm. It got, like, weird dust storms or whatever. So, I mean, I'm sure that you could be like, all right, there ain't no air out there. Put your head back in. But again, science says that if you go out in space without some kind of protection, you're fucked. Now, I see the cold. The vacuum still is I'm still iffy on that whole vacuum thing. Where, space is supposed to be a vacuum or whatever. That just, to me, doesn't make sense. But I'll give the cold. I'll even give the no oxygen. But just being cold and no oxygen... how many times motherfucker done jumped into a cold-ass lake and went underwater?
Mm-hmm.
Freezing your ass off. You couldn't breathe because you was underwater. You're shivering, but you didn't die.
Listen, I got thrown out of a whitewater rafting, and that water was so cold. I was above water and couldn't fucking breathe.
Me and my dumbass friends saw that Polar Bear Club thing with the old... Oh, they're old people. We could do this shit. So in, like, mid-December... Back in the day when it always gets real cold on Lake Erie, my dude BG got a cottage out there. It's walking distance to the fucking beach. We walked out there in all our fucking snow clothes, went down to the beach, stripped down, and jumped in Lake Erie. One of the dumbest. I think that's why my dick is so small right now. It ain't never grew back. That's how cold it was out there. That is how fucking cold it is out there. I'm telling you, and the bad thing is we weren't like, all right, we're gonna just try it out right here on the edge. No, there's like these big concrete things that kind of go out further. I think they're called breaker walls or whatever. We decided to go out to the edge of the breaker wall and dive in. That is at least a good 20 feet away from the shore. 20 feet walking ain't shit. 20 feet running ain't shit. 20 feet, I'm sure, to somebody who is an apt swimmer in good condition ain't shit. 20 feet to somebody who can barely swim, who's stoned, and it's fucking 0 degrees on above the water. Yeah, that's like 5 hours trying to get your ass back to the fucking beach. And then, you know, my boys who are 5 times my size, love them to death. They're my brothers. But BG, Fitch, and Billy were all, BG's name is Big Guy. Just to let you know, he makes Sniz looks like he's 150 pounds. So they were like that when we were kids. So these fucking whales are in the goddamn water, and they're, oh yeah, this ain't too bad. It's kind of cold. While all 4 of my nipples are hard enough to fucking take out eyeballs. Shit. What time is it?
10:30.
Yep, about to hit your 15.
All right, so we're going to take a break, and we're going to regroup and come back. We're not going to talk about my nipples.
Well, we weren't. You were.
Yeah, I don't even know how I went off on that tangent. It's all right. It's What the Fuck Wednesday.
Because you want to feel special. You need your turn.
No.
It's your season.
Bad thing is, it's all my season. I don't get to have a season because I have to deal with everybody else's.
Aww. Poor Marco.
I don't want to hear it because you're part of them.
I am not. I'm a fucking joy and delight, god darn it.
Never said you weren't at times.
I caught that. Jeez, Zois.
like Don Cody. on, Cody.
Now, why in the fuck, as soon as Greg said, "Are we ready?" your bladder says, "Yeah!"
I'm telling it's a conundrum. It does that to me at work. Be like, you are 45 minutes from the next restroom. Nope, we're going now.
All right, so go do your thing because I know you'll want to be a part of the next subject, so I'll hit this subject first.
I'm gonna hurry.
I touched on this on somewhat of a pregame video before I got here. It just strikes a chord with me because, I mean, I never thought it would be this close to home, and I found out recently it was very close to my home. And it's just like, here, let me give you the broader picture first. We have a lot of people out here, and they use it to justify their narratives that things have been going on forever. Nothing's going to stop and nothing's going to be done about it. So, the reason why nothing ever gets done about certain things is because it just gets swept under the rug. It's always happened. It's always this and that. You ain't going to worry about it. For the longest times, they used it for racism and slavery. And at that point in time, it was wrong. It didn't need to be swept under the rug. Now, there is no more slave. I beg to differ, and I can't wait because California is starting this reparations thing. This is going to be silly. You know how many black folks are going to be salty as fuck when they start doing this reparations? Because how they're calculating reparations are, they're going to go back, I think, 3 generations or 4 generations and see who your ancestor was. And if your ancestor is on this particular list, they got a list of the slaves, but if your ancestor is on this particular list, then you get reparations. And if not, then you don't. So let's think about that there. You know how many motherfuckers out here who are pissing and moaning about that shit, who think they deserve reparations, who probably came from like the Caribbean, or probably came from like some real fancy part of the world?
Wait, I have a question though. So if my great grandpappy fucked a slave and had babies with him, I am technically family to a slave.
No. See, it'd have to work like this.
You have to be one of your ancestors.
Say if one of the slaves fucked like one of your great grand aunts or grandmas.
Okay.
And they had to banish her. They couldn't keep her in the ranks. So she got sent off with the rest of the slaves. Then you'd be considered a child of the slaves, and you'd get your reparations. But nobody wants to look at the real deep part of that. If you want to go that way, I think reparations are bullshit. But if you want to go that route, fine. Go back to the real slave descendants. Go back to them and give them theirs.
We have all become a big Maury episode.
Right. I can almost guarantee there are more people who are here in America who were not descendants of slaves than there are of slaves anymore.
Jerry.
Because a lot of the slaves, because nobody goes to the story afterward, a lot of the slaves, once they were freed, left to Europe.
Yep.
A lot of them slaves went to Paris, Rome. A lot of them went, Australia. They stayed away from Australia. That was a big prison.
Damn, I can't even afford to go to Canada. Well, that's some bullshit.
Well, we can afford to go, but the border's still closed.
I was just kidding.
It's affording to come back.
I don't want to come back.
But
are you smuggling any contraband?
Yep.
Nobody looks at that. So when it comes down to these reparations, this is going to be hilarious. The Indians, the Native Americans, they gave them the Oklahoma. Like, okay, Oklahoma, fine. Now, you got you a whole state now. They never said to what tribe. They never said to what people or whatever. They just said Oklahoma pretty much fuck the people who's on there. The people who are on there either have to leave or they owe you money. And that's the way it was written. You know, that ain't bullshit because I figured it had to be some kind of, you know, transition or nothing. No, this was just one clusterfuck they thought was a good idea that they didn't think out. But they gave this state over. Now, personally to me, if you have not only this state, which is not a small fucking, you know, state, but also these reservations all over, you're done. You're done. You don't talk about Mount Rushmore. You don't talk about no pipelines. You don't talk about no nothing. Unless it is running through your shit. If it is running through your shit, you might get you some more taxes or some more whatever, or you might even get a say in a vote. But there has to be a vote. We might have to reroute. I'll give you that. But everywhere else where this horse shit where we don't want this sacred land it's paid for already. How many times does this shit got to be paid for? How many times does slavery have to be paid for? How many times do the Native Americans have to be paid for? How many times do the whatever else supposedly fucking got fucked over in the Asians? The Asians. We're saying fuck China right now, but how many fucking Asians were blown up to make that fucking railroad? Nobody talks about that. Because at the same time, fucking Bubba Jim and Jangle Leg were picking cotton, fucking Quan Chi and whoever the fuck were getting blown up in little fucking holes because they were short and they could get in there to make way for the new fucking railroads to haul that cotton. So we always talk about that. Well, what about all the Irish people that the slaves got?
Last time, and look what happened.
You know, the Irish people that the slaves got to fucking treat like shit. Oh, nobody talks about that because they were white. No, it don't matter what color they were. Fucking, even in, what was that, it was Gangs of Brooklyn or Kings of New York? It was damn near a documentary. It was a movie that
Kings of New York
looked at how the different peoples and different cultures came into America back in the day. You know, with Ellis Island, now Freedom Island, Mandela effect. But when they came in through, you know, there were the Italian states of their own. You know, there was the Germans
because nobody knew how to speak the other languages.
Well, it wasn't a matter of race, though. Whereas we don't like these people.
It was a matter of
They stayed
convenience.
with each other because they knew each other. They were from the motherland. Now, and they made friends with other people. They weren't forced. They did. Now, the one group of people, and it was not the blacks, and the blacks were there first, but the one group of people that were, what was the quote? The white man gets, they didn't use shade, but cheated out their money to give the black man a job for less pay, and the black man's job is 3 times as much as the Irishman, the piece of shit Irishman or some shit like that. So it wasn't even about, you know, it was racism, but it had nothing to do with your color. You know, he was Irish race. Do you even call it a race? Like, because you're from Ireland? You know, I don't even know
like
how
an
the race shit works
ethnicity?
anymore.
Yeah, I think that's more an ethnicity, but you know, back then it wasn't. You're right. It wasn't about color of skin. It was about where you know, what your country of origin was. But
Right.
those people were all from.
You know, you want to see real racism? When I was in boot camp, my bunkmate, his name was Stegall. Great dude. Stood about 6'3", you know, big, tall Jamaican dude. I mean, he made Wesley Snipes look like he was Puerto Rican. That's how dark this kid was.
Yeah.
Straight from the motherland, you know, the type that raised goats and shit. He made it to New York, or from New York. He stayed with family, and he went to the military. He did things the right way. The right way. Now, he's, you know, I'm coming from the hood of Youngstown. You know, black is black. There's no, you know, black is black, white is white, Puerto Rican, you know, Hispanic, whatever. You know, the only difference, you know, there was Mexicans and Puerto Ricans. There was no Cubans. There was no Dominicans. There was no none of that. You know, you fell under, you know, it was just that. Now, I get there, and I listen to Stegall talk about this girl. Like, there was a Haitian girl. Cute as fuck. just as black as he was. I mean, they spoke the same. Accent was real similar. Dude, he called that fucking chick everything but Yahweh. She was the worst piece of shit in the world because she was Haitian. That will open your eyes. You know, racism amongst the same color, people keep associating racism with color of skin. No, got nothing to do with that shit. Got nothing to do with that shit. Because then you're gonna hate the fucking albino black people? What the fuck is that? What kind of shit is that? Or you're gonna hate the white kids with the good tans? What is that? That's bullshit. You know, true racism.
And mixed kids don't stand a chance then.
Yeah. I mean,
Nah, they got 50-50.
Well, they didn't used to. Like, when I was growing up and I was younger, like, being mixed was, like, a dirty thing. Nowadays,
there
it almost...
was certain communities that were like that.
Right.
Yeah.
That where I grew up, that was how it was kind of looked.
You're also from
Middle class, suburban, and I am from the South. Technically.
Yeah.
But nowadays, you know, if you're mixed, it's almost like a rite of passage. Like, it's almost like a honor. Like,
Right.
they're not... It's not the way it used to be with mixed kids.
That has changed. I just meant with what you were, you know, with what you were saying in the context of back then.
Yeah.
Not now. But yeah, no, you are 100%
Yeah,
right.
Joyce is right.
You know, I just don't get, like, even me growing up, at a certain point in our life, like, I mean, early on we lived in some sketchy areas, and that kind of got ingrained in me, but, like, later on in life, you know, my parents both did very well financially, and we ended up in very affluent areas, and even in the affluent areas that we were in. Now, we didn't have a lot of minorities in the community or in the school, but we did have some. So they weren't large numbers, but I never witnessed any, like, real, except for isolated incidents, and that's always, you have that everywhere, where there's that one dickhead in the group.
Right.
It wasn't as a whole, it was an isolated, you know, experienced or saw mistreatment racially. You know, the skaters had, you know, there was a black guy that hung with the skaters, and maybe they had, like, you know, an Asian guy or a mixed kid, and, you know, the metalheads, you know, there were some in the metalheads, there were some in the jock group. Now, you would see bullshit happen between the jock group and the metalheads,
Right,
but it wasn't
that's
based
cliques.
on, right, it was clique based.
Right.
You know, it wasn't color based. I never experienced that until I became an adult.
See, the only thing
that's
that I
even
came
in
close
settings
to in
where
my
you would
school where I
actually
came
really
from-
expect it. You know what I mean?
Where I came from, like, the schooling that I had, we were all mixed. But again, we had them same cliques. Like,
Right.
The closest thing when I realized real racism just in the school, and it wasn't even really racism, it was just like the way people were brought up, and this goes back to what Joyce was saying. Like, we had one kid, he was a Mexican kid, but he was whiter than you. You know, I can't even say Mexican. He was American. He was cultural Mexican, whatever. You know, but he was whiter than you. And he started dating this girl named Tanisha, this black girl. And it was like this big issue for a whole year. You know, it was this big thing. And then this other girl that I actually grew up with, Gretchen, another black girl, dated this other dude. And she actually married a white dude. But aside from that, like, inner kind of conflict or whatever that happened in the school amongst ourselves was clique conflict. It wasn't white against black. The only time anything close to white against black came up was when the Rodney King shit came up. And then there was a certain amount of people just wanted to act a fool. Everybody else was like, fuck
Right,
that.
but
You
the
know,
majority
we all
wasn't.
understood that was bullshit.
See,
and that,
how I grew up, and I grew up very differently than both of you.
but I wasn't allowed to date Greek girls. Like, Greek girls weren't allowed to date anybody but Greek people.
Because my family has direct ties with the Confederate Army. Like General Robert E. Lee is directly descendant to my family. Like, racism runs rampant through my family, and my parents were racist but not overly vocal about it.
They were passive.
I definitely knew I was never to bring home a black man.
Most racist people I've ever been around were Puerto Rican.
But listen, the way I grew up, I grew up in my parents were just barely middle class, but we grew up in a nice neighborhood, but it was predominantly white. The school system I went through the exact same school system from elementary to middle to high school, the exact same kid. I mean, nothing ever, because we never moved. And it was, they were all white. Everybody was white where we lived. They ended up, in my high school years, busing black kids. And they're trying to save Annapolis City schools, and
Joe Biden was against that.
They bust black kids to my high school. Now this was and I'm sure, honestly, there were some black kids growing up. I could not remember them if they are, because I just wasn't. It just wasn't.
Here,
just whatever.
We grew up in Camel knowing that if we went to Poland or Salem or Canfield, those were, they call them when we played them in football, they were the hay-fed kids. They were the hay-fed white kids.
Right.
And they always, it wasn't so much they looked down on us for being black, white, Greek, whatever the fuck. They looked down on us because we came from Camel.
Right. Growing up,
the white kid
for
from
sure
Camel got looked down the same way as the black kid
for
from Camel.
me, growing up, we looked down on anybody who lived in Woodland Beach. That was our Camel.
Known for the whores. Camel was known for the we were just bad people.
Right.
Nobody really, Youngstown, Southside, Northside, and Eastside were their own thing.
Yeah.
Lowville was part of basically like Struthers, Poland area. But those were more the preppier type goody goodies. I mean that's just the way. So if we would get maybe picked on by certain cops or whatever, or even looked down upon by certain places because we were from Camel,
right?
Not because I was Puerto Rican,
right?
They didn't give a fuck whether I was Puerto Rican, whether I was Greek, whether
growing
I was
up,
whatever the fuck.
That's how
You're
it was.
From Camel, get the fuck out of my house.
That's how it was growing up. It was always the kids from Woodland Beach. If you lived in Woodland Beach, that was the Camel of where I grew up. Then high school comes and they start busting in black kids. Honestly, there was still no race shit. The black kids stuck to themselves, and the white kids stuck to themselves, and we just didn't even.
They never saw like a mix of people. Like I'll never forget Mark DeAngelis. He was looked down on not only because he was from Camel, but because he was a Jehovah's Witness. Now, mind you, silliness is, and Mark used to, he was like one of them. He would, be into it over his religion.
Dude, my aunt made me do that one weekend.
But he looked like the typical, like, preppy white kid. And they didn't give a fuck about the color of his skin. They didn't give a fuck about, he was from Camel, and on top of that, he was a Jehovah's Witness. The fights that went on, they tried, and there was that certain amount of people that tried to make it a race thing. But the fights that went on was not because we were from, we were black or we were, and it didn't even matter if we were from the projects. It mattered, we were from Camel, and Camel was beneath them. Go ahead, Jared.
Okay, so in middle school and starting high school, I lived in Worthington, Ohio, which is a nice suburb of Columbus. So the percentage of like black kids to white kids, we might have had maybe 10% of our high school, or my middle school at the time, probably even less, probably closer to 5%.
No, we didn't
would have been black.
Didn't have redhead white girls.
Hold on. The most popular kid in my high school he's the one that he could get the party started. He could get people to calm down. The whole group, it didn't matter. His name was Gary Berry. Great, awesome football player. Actually ended up going on to Ohio State and being an absolutely phenomenal punt returner.
Berry?
Yeah. But, and I'll never forget, the first middle school dance. Nirvana's Nevermind had just hit. And he's the one, when that song came on, he had the entire school doing the same thing at the same time. He's the one. Black kids made up 5% of the school, maybe. like this, nobody gave a shit. It didn't matter. It was because who he was, his personality, who he was able to, and everybody followed him. It didn't matter. And that even transcended the cliques. Like it, but it didn't, nobody gave a shit that he was black. The racism that we're being told now, that's systematic. And I'm not saying
this is new racism.
And I'm not saying that in certain institutions, and especially in the legal system, that there's not systematic racism. But to believe that it's just instilled in our daily, everyday culture, I never saw it. I never experienced it. Even being in some areas, the mass majority being white, I never saw minorities treated that way. Now, what I have experienced, not only what I completely experienced with my children was when they were white and the minority in the situation, they were absolutely treated like shit.
And I'm glad you brought that up because
that's true.
The main example of how things change. Like, there's an evolution of shit.
That's because
everything goes back to begin. Everything comes in circles because nobody wants to fucking learn from the fucking past. You know, but So, and I'm glad you brought that up. When my brothers, Louie and Joey, were in high school, it was still the 70s. They were in high school. My brother Louie, his best friend Clyde Gore, who was black, and another one of their friends, I don't remember what his name was. I think it was a Greek kid. All decided for the Halloween ball that they had at the school, they made KKK outfits. Now, they won the costume contest. Everybody loved the costumes. They had the greatest time. It was all great. Now, we flash forward 13 years to when it's my turn to go to the school Halloween ball. Me, my friend Joey Webb, who was a black kid, and another black kid made our outfits. Well, when we got there, Joey was in his outfit. The other kid didn't show up. But Joey took his outfit off, and I couldn't understand why. And I kept mine on. You know, honestly, at that point in time, I didn't even know what the KKK really was. I just knew my brother won the Halloween contest.
Right.
And I started walking around, and it was not any kind of experience that my brother told me about. You know, nobody really fucked with me in a aggressive, mean way. But there was a lot of people who was like, oh, I'm afraid, or oh, let me get away from you, oh, this and that. They
didn't want to associate because then they would,
So, you know, and then from that point, slowly but surely, it died off to where we all know, you know, that shit ain't cool. And there was no KKK up until last year. Then all of a sudden, there's now KKK rampant. But...
Well, it kind of depends on where you live. Because when we lived in Maryland, I was actually on the news because they were planning,
they did the rally and they were
doing a rally in Annapolis, and the news crews were going around the neighborhoods asking about it.
I understand that, but again, now, that was all but damn near gone. It was going on its own. You know, just us learning generation after generation. I know Joyce has not one racist bone in her body.
No.
But you know what? At one point over bullshit, you know, not only the media, but just social shit and life got her to that point where I'm sure she thought, well, maybe fuck these motherfuckers.
Right.
And there's a lot of kids out here who didn't give a fuck what color their friend was, who didn't give a fuck what color the people in the school was, you know, went from, these are my people, these are just, you know, this person was an asshole or this person was cool, to now this person is black or this person's a nigger or this person's a cracker or this person's a white devil or they're holding us down. You know where they saw that shit? You know, because they didn't see that from the us. They didn't see that from us. We saw enough of that where we try to stop it. There's still a few of them old timers left that we try to weed out, but for the most part, especially my generation, I know goddamn well where I came from, where Greg came from, even where Jared came from in that white suburb. We learned how to adapt and we learned the follies of the bullshit of the past. But to bring shit up, try to say things that are racist that aren't, or try to make things serious that are jokes, are creating fucking racists.
Right.
You know, all last year, I said it before, I'll say it again. Them little white kids didn't see black people protesting over a dead person. What they saw was black folks destroying neighborhoods. Yeah. Them little black kids did not see cops beating up on people. What they saw was white people attacking us.
Right.
And what the fuck do you think that's gonna bring?
Right.
You just started that cycle over again. You just ripped a scab off a wound that was finally, it might have not been gone. You know, it might not have been gone at all. But it was pretty fucking close to being healed.
Because honestly, and especially if there was anybody, in this room that would have really have been racist, it would have been me. Because of how I grew up, what my family was, what we represented in the past, and then my experience with black people was very minimal. And honestly, throughout high school, it was just known. You didn't fuck with a black person because they all band together. Period. Well, but by high school level, I was doing my own shit. And I didn't give no fuck. I didn't care. So I didn't have that problem, but it was known. You just didn't do that.
We had black kids who lived in the better part of Camel fucking, intentionally going to move to the projects just so they could get the clout.
See, and I didn't understand clout till I moved to Youngstown, honestly.
That was the street
But one of my
thing.
best friends, in high school was a black girl. Another dude that was one of my good friends was a mixed dude. I didn't really see it, until we moved to Youngstown.
I feel you. And that's the way, I try to explain to the guys that I do the other shows with. I ask them constantly, where do you guys come from? Where did you come up? The real pieces of racism, like media style racism that I ever experienced growing up, aside coming from, this is coming towards me, not going out from my family because I'm about to hit that. One time at my church festival, I went in to play bingo. And there were two white ladies there. And the one white lady said to the other white lady, do you know anybody here? Have you seen anybody you know? And the other white lady said, nah, it just these spickers. Now, not the same festival, same place, a different festival. Right. A couple years later, Coatesville cops is known to be assholes no matter what color you are. But back then, they were on that bullshit. They stopped me and a couple of my friends walking from the festival, just going for a walk. And I'm not even going to lie. I was 13 years old and I was smoking a cigarette. That was the reason why I was walking away from here, because my parents were at the fucking festival. But they stopped us and gave us the whole semi-racist shit. And and even for the bullshit they gave us, we were brought up to know, no matter what, cop, whatever, I don't give a fuck what color. Yes, sir, no, sir. You just deal with their bullshit.
Right.
Because you will, 90% of the time, get out of it with the least amount of problems. Mm-hmm. So that's what, he was like, oh, you Puerto Ricans, you carry knives, this and that. Do we have to search you? And I was like, dude, I got a pack of cigarettes on me. And the rest of the kids were a little bit younger than me. We were like, look, man, our parents are over there. You want to go talk to our parents? And again, I went and told my mom, who is very ready to kick somebody's ass.
Oh, for sure.
But she's also a realist. And she's just like, Mark, you're going to have that bullshit. Just fucking leave it alone. Just like with the ladies in the bingo. You're going to have that bullshit. Leave it alone.
Yep.
And slowly but surely, if you have that leave it the fuck alone mentality, it goes away. It goes away.
And this is where...
But if you keep on that and keep on it and on it, it will never fucking go away.
This is where everybody has gone wrong with the whole bullying fucking issue.
Bullying's
100%. Because I'm going to tell you right now, I had to sit my son down and explain to him that just because somebody doesn't like you, they're not bullying you. just because somebody says something mean to you,
nowadays it is,
they're
though.
not bullying you. I said, listen, there's going to be people that don't like you. They're going to say what they want to say. But unless you feel inferior, unless you feel threatened and like they're putting you in danger, unless it's repeated. Here's the huge thing.
I was a fat kid with an afro. It wasn't because of my skin color. It wasn't because I was Puerto Rican. It's because I was a fat kid with an afro.
Okay,
and I
well,
listened to
The whole
rap.
definition, the actual
This
like
doesn't have anything
Webster's
to do with that. It's
definition,
just about the bullying.
but the Webster's definition of bullying, it has to be a repeated offense.
Right.
Okay, you just got into a fight with a kid and he hurt your feelings. Guess what? You did not just get bullied. Like,
Right, you might have got your
kids
feelings
do
hurt,
not,
whatever.
and
but
I'm
yeah,
serious.
you
Like
weren't
this,
bullied.
this is.
Somebody tried to beat your ass.
There is
He
some
was an asshole, but that's not bullying.
But
You're
we
right,
have
you're
turned
right.
some these kids into some stupid little pussy
It happened to my
bitches
daughter Mackenzie.
because they can't fucking take the fact that somebody don't like you.
Yeah. And
Who
this,
the fuck
this
cares?
Whole
Move on.
cyberbullying.
Move on.
This cyberbullying, and people have turned it into a real issue.
It
You
can't.
know,
I mean, let's
it
be
can
legit.
now
it
it
can
is
be.
an issue. Now it is an issue because people make that fucking box full of wires a reality.
Tell
You
them
know,
to
my
get
daughter
fucked and
Mackenzie-
block their
my
asses
daughter
and move the
Mackenzie
fuck
was getting
on.
fucking threatened and all that,
Oh.
cyberbullied or whatever. And her mother took her out of school. I fucking snapped on her mother, took her out of school for this shit. No, you know what? I was bullied for years. And I wouldn't be the person I was. I wouldn't have learned to stand up for myself. I wouldn't have learned to fucking fight if I wasn't bullied. You know, some of us have to take that shit. You know, bullies grow up and fucking make amends most of the time. Not all the time, but most of the time. But people who got bullied and don't fucking, take care of that shit become mass murderers. Mm-hmm. Or they just kill themselves.
There is a certain level of it that is healthy. There's also
It's
Shit
in
that we found
moderation.
out about
There's
Greg.
certain
there
things.
can also reach. It can also reach a level where
Look,
how the fuck did someone not get involved in that?
We found out-
There's lines that.
There's lines that got to be drawn.
Listen.
I will not say that all bullying is right, but I will say you don't find out what the survival of the fittest is until you find out what the fucking survival of the fittest is.
And I agree with that. That's what I'm saying. There's also a
Right.
certain level that is not
But-
only
but no-
it's not
no,
only
like,
natural
high
that even though
schoolers
it
should
doesn't
be
feel
fucking
good,
with no-
even though it doesn't feel good, it's healthy because you need to learn those
That's society.
coping mechanisms. You need to learn.
Yes.
Right. You need to learn.
to be able to. If you teach your kid that you got yelled at over a computer and that's bullying, they're gonna go into the fucking world later on in life and get yelled at by
And
a
never
boss.
hold a fucking
I never
job.
got yelled at by my boss. What am I supposed to do? You're supposed to shut the fuck up and go do your job. That's what
Right.
the fuck you're supposed to do.
And look, you know what? I won't say his name. My middle boy, okay? He's special. He's on the spectrum. But he doesn't make friends easy. He's always been, the odd man out. Here's the thing.
I've met your three boys, and the one you're talking about is more fucking on it than the other ones.
But this is what we're finding
I
out.
love little man.
But listen, he went through some crazy ass shit at the private school that he was in, where shoved in lockers, sat by himself at lunch, fucking constantly fucked with. Nobody had a fucking clue. Kid didn't tell his brothers. He didn't tell us. He didn't. The extreme amount that he was putting up with, and seemed like shit was normal. Everything was all whatever. Like, we didn't find out until some stupid technicality came up and grown-ups got involved. Like, he was accused of saying he was going to shoot up a school.
No, Jesus
all of a
Christ.
sudden, psychologists, police, he can't come back till he's cleared a psych eval. And here's me. You've had this kid in your school since fucking preschool. You're telling me he fits the profile of a school shooter? What the fuck is wrong with your dumb ass? But past all of it, he passed everything with flying colors. Everybody was like, this is not the makings of a school shooting. This is not what this
what he
is all
said got
bullshit.
taken out of context.
Right, this is all bullshit.
I agree.
But what came out in that investigation was the severe amount of bullying that kid took on a day-to-day basis without any. You mean to tell me, with cameras in the hallway at this private school, that you didn't see my kid getting shoved into lockers, getting pushed across the hall? You never saw that shit?
You know what else though?
That's some major bullshit right there.
When we started pushing on them, they didn't officially expel him, but they basically asked us to not
To withdraw him because he didn't fit into their
Program.
program.
All right. Well, see, here's the thing. One, if all that came out during whatever then yes, your son does have the makings of a person who shoots up a school. But, what kid doesn't? Do you know how many?
Right.
Do you know how many Mexican kids say they're gonna shoot up the barrio? Do you know how many black kids that say they're gonna shoot up the fucking hood? You know that is a natural thing.
You know,
now,
just
if
like
you
you
don't
get
have
pissed
an
off
outlet,
and you say, "I'm gonna fucking kill you."
if you keep telling that kid that he is not allowed to do anything about it, and that is the problem. We went from you're not allowed to do anything about it to now, oh my God, this is such a bad thing. Well, you told him not to fucking handle it.
Right.
You know, that was a big issue with Thorne and me, my son Thorne, me and his mom. When I was there, before his mom and I split up, look, you don't start no shit. But you don't let nobody put their hands on you, and you try your damnedest not to let anything go down at school. Now, if it gets to the point where you feel that this is some bullshit, and you are the judge of this, then you handle it. And if anybody says shit to you, then they got to go through me. But you showed the restraint, and you showed the intellect to know. And Thorne was always told by his mother he's not allowed to defend himself. Thorne got beat up on and bullied because he was one of the biggest kids, but he was not allowed to do shit to defend himself. When Thorne came to live with me, Thorne, he was just like a pit bull that was beaten by a pro wrestler.
He was a bait dog.
Yeah, he was a bait dog.
Yep.
And I had to look, boy, because I seen it in his eyes. He snapped a couple times. Like, it just built up, pent up aggression where a simple fight went way past the line.
Right.
So you can see, like, I get like that too. If I got a lot of shit built up and I can't get it out, that one person I got to let it out on is fucked.
Right.
And it's not right, and it's not.
I'm afraid of the next person that pushes that button
But
with me.
once I told Thorne, look, you need to learn how to defend yourself. You don't be that asshole. You don't be that bully. You help out whoever. If somebody's getting bullied, you stepped in, but you see why that's happening. And a lot of times when you stop the bullying, it's worse.
Right.
If you step in on somebody who's about to get bullied, you're never giving that person a chance to fucking stand up for themselves.
Right.
Now it's a toss-up, but this whole, because there's rules now in school. I don't know if it hit your guys' school yet.
Oh,
but
it's hit every
schools,
school.
If you don't, it's like the Good Samaritan law. If you don't help a kid being bullied that you see, then you are in trouble too. You're just as bad as the bully because you didn't help out. But you're not allowed to defend yourself against the bully.
Right. That's some bullshit.
So you're pretty much stuck in that situation where you are making either. There was more options there. Right now, you're either making a person that can deal with it and roll on, or they're going to shoot up the school.
Because they're
Where
trying.
Before there was, they're going to deal with it or roll on, or they might figure out another way around this, or they might just be smarter than the other person, or they might be able to kick that person's ass and get that self-esteem to go further, because that was me. And do whatever.
And the school board is trying to do their best to help the kids that are less fortunate, but also stay politically correct and cover their ass. Basically, that's why you can't
that's the issue.
right. So, and that's not how it works in society, like fucking anywhere.
Oh, that started still,
Like,
when my daughters were seniors.
at all.
They were going to get expelled because I put a red strip in their hair. Now, rules in the book at that time, and they changed the book because of me. But rules in the book at that time, there was nothing about hair, nothing. And actually, when they changed it, they said it had to be a natural color.
Yeah,
That's what most handbooks say now.
When I
So you can
dyed
still
my
dye as
hair
long
when
as
I
it's
was
a natural
modeling,
color.
I had red dye left over. My daughters, being in high school, they wanted a red strip down their hair.
Yeah.
Nothing major, and it wasn't even like a big, it wasn't like a big, it was just red, darker red.
Right.
School colors, red and black. So we could even use that,
Right.
They
And
got expelled.
Red's the national color.
So when I went to go talk to the principal, the excuse was it's causing a distraction in the class. A little red strip in their hair.
Yeah.
So I said, because the principal at the time was my typing teacher when I was in high school, Mr. Carlson, do you remember who I am? Yeah, Mr. Torres. He didn't. Because if he would have remembered, he would have remembered the dude with the dreadlocks and beads in his hair that went down to his fucking nipples that sounded like a rattlesnake every time he turned his head. That's a distraction, and I did that on purpose. Now, and it was like the universe was listening to the conversation. Little black girl walks by. She has all kind of beads and baubles and big fucking shits in her hair. I was like, how is my daughter's hair a distraction? And that's not a distraction. We're not going to make this a race issue. We're not white!
Right.
So this ain't a race issue. Why is all that shit on top of that little girl's head okay, but a little red strip in my daughter's hair is not? We have to go by the judgment of our staff. So I took that shit down because look, when it comes to my kids' education, don't make me sober up and be
Superintendent. Here we go. Board of Education.
So I go down there, and I know a lot of people, which a lot of people don't realize, but I know the secretary of the superintendent at the time. So I didn't have to buzz in or nothing. I got to just walk in like I'm the man. Linda, and I explained to her the issue. She said, Mark, you know what? You're right. He's right there. No buzz. She didn't even let that motherfucker know I was coming through that door. And I explained to him the situation. I asked him to tell me what was the difference and why it was wrong. He couldn't. All he said was, well, we just have to back our... Okay. Well, one, I'm giving you an out. Because if I'd have let this girl's mother come up there, this trailer cunt, all hell would have broke loose. You'd have needed the cops up there. But two, I slapped a piece of paper there. I was like, see all this? This is every news station and radio that's about to get called. And on top is my lawyer. We're going to see how you like that. Because we're going to find out what true equality is. And Tammy did the same thing. Because I was technically Mackenzie's dad, but not her stepdad. So she had to go in with the same shit. And not even 45 minutes later, I was begged to at least dye the color down a little bit. They could keep the color, but they had to dye it down. And I made sure that nothing was taken. The 2 days that they were out of school was not counted. They didn't get counted for any tests they missed. None of that. Look, don't make me come to your level, because I would do it a lot better. Whether it be grimy, whether it be fucking top notch, I would do it better.
Let me tell you, Boardman schools.
Oh, those are great to deal with.
Oh, they want...
You heard my rant when we...
Boardman schools. They think their shit don't stink. Man, you are still fucking Youngstown. But...
You're worse than, because at least Youngstown...
Youngstown knows what Youngstown is.
More Canfield. Now
but
Boardman is more Southside.
Boardman, okay?
Straight up.
My kid, one of my boys, okay, was in Boardman schools. And he got into it with... And this is a kid who we both have taught, you don't start shit at school. You don't get in trouble at school, period. But you also don't back the fuck down. If somebody puts their hands on you first...
that knows the rule.
You defend yourself. So, my wonderful, amazing, strong-ass little 12-year-old 11, I think, at the time. Okay? This kid was, running his mouth. My kid's running his mouth. The kid slapped him. Seriously slapped him. My kid hauled back and punched this fucking kid.
That was worse than a punch.
Fucking, right? Fucking punched this kid. He was boom on the ground, out. He was out. He knocked the fuck out. He knocked the kid out. My kid got suspended. The other kid got a detention because the other kid got a detention because even though he started it and laid hands on my kid first, he used an open hand. So he got a detention. My kid, because he actually fucking punched like a goddamn man, fucking got suspended.
Got that from? That's actually a domestic violence rule.
I don't give a
I'm
shit.
telling you what, that kid when he got home
If
got
you
cake
punch
and ice
your old
cream
lady-
and a high five,
if you
and we were
punch your
like,
old lady,
fuck
you
yeah.
will get like almost like a felony.
Right,
but if you open hand slap
right,
an old
and-
lady,
but-
and honestly, again, I could come around with more force with an open hand,
Right?
Than trust me, my mama taught me well. I done took many a fucking hands from my mama.
I've been trained. That
Teeth
shit
ain't
hurts.
right for a reason.
Listen,
They bring your
buddy,
shit.
we don't even need to argue that end because this situation was two equally matched, same age kids. There was my son met with equal force in defense of himself.
See, I think totally the punishment should go equal. I mean, I know it's in certain circumstances.
You want my
but
complete honest
my
opinion?
son-
My son shouldn't have gotten in trouble for that. But at the very least, I will concede. If the punishments were equal.
Yes, I
Right.
agree. Because that
I
happened
might
with
not
Thorne.
like it, but I'll take it.
You know, Thorne got attacked and he handled the job, and Thorne was the one who missed out on his trip to, I forget where the fuck they went. I lost out on the money I paid for.
Mm-hmm.
I think they were going to Chicago or Washington, some shit. Thorne missed out on that because two assholes in a bathroom went at him. And he handled it. You know, and he even came to me. This is when he still lived with his mom. He called me crying. He was like, "Dad, there was nothing I could do. They kept at me. So I stabbed one with a pencil, and the other one, you know, him and I went hand to hand, and he lost." Now, the other two kids, not only did they get to go on their trip, but they got nothing.
Yep.
But because Thorne, he was a little bit bigger kid, and these kids, you know, got handled, even though there was 2-on-1, Thorne took the brunt of it.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not going to lie, I'm sure it was because they knew who Thorne's dad was.
Oh, for sure. When I stopped working at
So that's when I started handling shit at the schools.
And when I stopped working at the private school that my kids went to, I was no longer an employee. All of a sudden, my oldest son. Now, you know my oldest son. My oldest son is a challenge
Yeah,
on his
your boy.
good day. But my oldest son suddenly has how did they put it? They put it they have done everything they can to help him, and every program that they put in place for him, he has found a way to either not follow it or somehow go around it. So he just wasn't fitting in the
Criteria.
yeah, in their image, in their program. So he got expelled. Shortly after, then my middle son is accused of suddenly saying he's going to shoot up the school. Shortly after, my youngest son is a behavioral issue that they just cannot any longer provide the best service for him. So,
See, the only one that I
seriously
have to exclude from that is the second son, because I'm a firm believer that if nobody gave a fuck that this kid was getting bullied, and I'm sure, nobody just keeps it in all the time. Every once in a while, I'll be like, look, this person's messing with me.
Oh, no.
90% of the time, the reason why you keep shit in is because when you did look for help, you got told to go fuck yourself.
What was the remake of the Halloween with Michael Myers? The
Halloween,
Rob Zombie.
Rob Zombie Halloween.
Right. You know, nobody
That
took
version
into
of Michael Myers?
nobody
When he's
took
a
into
kid?
consideration what that kid was going through.
Hold on, though.
And he wasn't able to let loose because of all the shit that was going on. So that's what created the monster. So in that, and you know I love your kids.
For
but
sure.
in that, if that didn't get nipped in the bud when it did, then yeah, there would have been potential. Now that school had no right or any knowledge that would have happened, but that kid did have potential of being one of them fuckers that shoot up the school. Because he was told at one point in time in that school that you are not allowed to fight back. That you have to go tell a teacher. Well, 99% of the time when you go tell a teacher, they tell you to suck it the fuck up. Or they blow it the fuck off. Or if you go to the principal, they're just too fucking busy. Or they make it to the point where you get bullied even more.
Or the other kids.
So there's no justice.
Or the one doing the most bullying is a teacher's kid, and so...
Right. So there's two ways that could go. Either that kid, you know, and I have been fortunate enough, so my kids finally just get to the point where they're like, fuck it, and they'll snap on a motherfucker. You know, you either got a kid who will finally, you know, let it go and handle their business, hopefully the right way, because there is right ways. I mean, you know, hey, violence is our life. You know, but there is right ways to take care of things. Or you have them ones that have been suppressed so bad that they think they have no one to go to and they can't handle things by themselves.
Right.
But you know what? I can handle whatever the fuck with this shotgun.
Mm-hmm. Now listen, when Jared and I first watched that remake with the Rob Zombie Halloween with him as a little kid, we looked right at each other and went, "Do this, Greg." Now he loves animals and he wouldn't hurt an animal.
I looked at that and I saw meat and it scared the fuck out of me.
But he has the potential, and we see it at home. When he fucking snaps, there are no boundaries when that kid snaps. He fucking snaps.
And it takes a long time and a lot of good people, solid people around you to be able to control that. Because I'm not going to lie, I mean, with my mental issues on top of, you know, the real deal medical issues on top of the life issues, you know, it took a long time for me to, and still there's like this morning, I'm not going to lie, you know, some shit popped off at my house. Some shit that went way past, you know, after I calmed down and everything. Great. Not only me, but my kids also saw that we were all acting a fool. We all let it escalate way past where it should have been. But in that right there, that is just a I guess symptom. Oh, no, I wouldn't even say a symptom. A result of just pent up bullshit.
Yep.
You know, I the only people I tell my kids, you know, I don't, and I get disagreements on everybody, but you know what? You don't lie to me because I'm the only one that's going to get you out of your shit. Right. And best believe I'm shadier than you can ever be. You don't steal from me because I'm the one who's fucking feeding you. Mm-hmm. And if I tell you something, whether it be weird, strange, you don't understand it or not, there's
you
always
fucking
a reason.
Do it. Period.
Do it. That's it.
Yep.
That's it. And
100%.
there's very few. I've been called shit by my mama. I've been called shit by people. By my own priest when I used to believe in that shit. There are very few things that set me off. But them few things, I will let you know. And you knew the cause of that.
Yep.
Man, woman, whatever. I don't believe I'm putting my hands on a woman, but best believe, especially if I'm in an intoxicated state, I'm not saying it's right, but there are certain things that can be said, and it's in every man and every woman that will make you fucking do some stupid shit that you never wanted to do. You know, and I will admit, one of them phrases is maybe I did, and another one is loser. You could call me a piece of shit. You could call me a fucking a nigger, a spick, whatever the racist thing, you know. You could call me Uncle Tom, whatever the fuck. Don't bother me.
Mine's liar.
Mine is loser.
Call me a liar?
You know, I was always told that I was never going to make anything of myself.
Yep.
You know, I came from a long line of drunks and drug addicts.
Yep.
I am not supposed to be where I'm at right now. You know, I am by far nowhere in, you know, no big shot or anything, but I am not supposed to be where I'm at right now. I am supposed to be slumming in the hood, addicted to whatever the new dope is. That is supposed to be, you know, that was my destiny. And I broke that shit. You know, I learned from my past. When my friends decided to do stupid shit, you know, I calculated my stupid shit.
Right.
When I didn't do dirt unless it really, really had to be done, and I made sure it was done, and I did everything myself. And when my friends were partying or blowing their money on fancy cars or the new chain or I put my shit away. Because not only did I have kids at that time, which, well, I can't even say nothing about the kids. You know, I paid my child support but I wasn't allowed to have my kids. You know, once I didn't agree with their mother, you know, back then child support, you know, if you got tits, you fucking rule the world.
Right.
So, you know, I hated kids. You know, my girlfriends in a certain period of time will let you know I couldn't even stand to hear the cry of a baby. Because I was never allowed to be around you know, I didn't get to watch Thorne be born. You know, I wasn't allowed to be there. I wasn't allowed to be there for Julia. Julia was taught that she had a different father. You know, that's why Julia had a big issue with coming with me. Because no matter what, she was taught that her dad was not me. So in all that, you know, I saw my kids, and this was me just being that asshole, not being a father quite yet. I took the outer surface mask as what it was and just did my thing. But when I peeled that mask off, well, the mask got peeled off for me, and I saw what was going on, then that awesome life that I had, you know, I don't know if it was ingrained in me or whether I chose it, I don't know, but it stopped. It was not let me tear off from this or let me do this. No, I have to stop being this person and I got to start being this person. And when I got told this morning that was not worth shit, that I never did anything, that I never had or amounted to anything.
Oh, yeah.
I'm not going to lie, that was kind of a kick in the dick.
You know what? And that's why what you just said, this is one of me and Jared's biggest fights, because our oldest son, I've seen him and dealt with him when he wouldn't deal with you. I dealt with him when he was doing some fuck shit. Like some fuck shit. And I see him now. He's not on the right path. He's not doing what he's supposed to be doing for a normal 15-year-old boy. Almost 16-year-old boy.
The issue with that is...
let me finish for a second.
The way to fix that, there is a proven, whether you want to go statistics or just if you want to talk to old timers, there is a proven way to fix that. But you wouldn't let that happen, and now it has gotten to the point where there is no fixing that. There is just guiding it and trying to make sure it doesn't fuck up too much.
And I get it and I understand it. And I do realize
you
that...
know, at that first point, you should have let his father beat the dog snot out of him.
I should have. I 100% agree with you.
Now you're at the point where he thinks he's an adult, and you're letting him be an adult, and you really have no choice but to let him do that.
Okay.
But here's what I'm saying.
I'm getting close to that with one of mine.
What we fight about and what we butt heads on a lot is I've seen the progress that he is making. I've seen him decide not to do the fuck shit that his friends are doing. To go a different way. Is he still fucking up? Yes. Is he still doing stupid shit that he shouldn't? Yes. But I've also seen him start to have that desire to want to fucking graduate, want to play ball for school, I've seen him want to get his license, get a regular job. I've seen him want those
See that
things.
woman right there? See that woman right there?
Yes.
I've seen that woman in her business sense. I've seen that woman in her wife's sense. I've seen that woman in her mom's sense. And I also seen that crazy bitch like snap, like a fucking, like a dude on meth and PCP all at once.
And stab you?
Not me. Not me. But there is evidence of that night that will never go away. Now, the only reason why that doesn't happen all the time anymore, well, one, it was never nipped in the bud in the beginning. She says that herself, so she's trying to take care of it herself. But two, the only reason why it's anywhere near under the control it is now is because of the guidance and the help that she has and the understanding. Now, you went past that first fuck shit. All right, you're past that. So now, and I did this, and this is the only reason why I'm saying this, and I could be wrong because everybody has different situations. But from what I see is he's trying to act like an adult, and you're saying, fuck it, you're an adult. Now, when I tried that, didn't work at all. Didn't work at all.
I'm not saying he's adult. What I'm saying is...
Really?
Really?
Really? Because the only time I let my kids do the shit that your kid does is when I tried doing things your way, and them kids right now
That's
are
not
in
his fault.
fuck shit.
You don't know exactly what I'm doing now and how I'm handling it now.
That's not his fault.
I'm
No,
just
no,
talking
let me-
about what I've seen because there is always behind the
Right,
scenes
but
shit.
what I'm saying now is we are handling it different now. I understand what you're saying, and no, we can't handle it the way that it should have been handled at the very beginning, but there is a way to handle it now, and a lot of those changes have been made. That's why
I
what
think
went down
at
the
less
other
complicated
day.
point
But she's talking on a different. She's saying she's trying to make a different point. The point you're making, I understand what you're saying, and up until not too long ago, I absolutely agree with you. But
I honestly
some things
feel
have
like
changed in that kid's
the
life.
way you handle things is the right way. Whether it's wrong in socialize or whatever, it's the right way. And it not only should have been done the time you did it, but every fucking time. And you need to realize that your kids are going to be gone one day, but your husband won't, unless he's dead.
Really?
Okay, but now
You are
now
a
to
partnership.
now to the point she was making.
First of all, I've been saying that since my first kid was born. But second, what I see in my kid, one, I see his struggle, and I see the effort that he is putting in. So it's not black and white. It's not.
Well, I never said it was black and white, but
No,
the struggle
but-
I see in your child is you guys.
Okay.
You know, that's the only struggle that I can even see in my kids. I am my kids' struggle. You know, Maya and Julia, because they don't want for anything. They don't need anything. They are fed. They have a nice house. They have awesome clothes. They have whatever the fuck else. But they are still unhappy. So I am the problem.
Hey, man.
I am the problem.
You'll hear that.
So now,
So how are we the problem in our kid?
not whatever personal issues that he has seen, he has used that as his jumping point. Now, whether it was, in your eyes or my eyes, that big of a deal, obviously in his eyes it was. Because that was my first jumping point. And I'm just speaking from experience. And I could totally be wrong. But this is just what I'm seeing. You guys' issues between each other was the jumping point for his way he went. Because if the two people in the world that are supposed to be together in his eyes and that are supposed to be supporting each other above everybody else I mean, because everybody wants to put, my kids will always be first. No, fuck that. Fuck that. You know, because your kids wouldn't be there if it wasn't for that person next to you.
Correct. Your spouse is always first.
So, in that, and I made this big mistake. You never fight. You never argue. You never put any of your problems in front of kids. Because that right there becomes their problems. You know, I put my problems in front of my kids. And it became their problems. So the way I coped with it was really wrong. But the way I coped with it became my kids' coping skills. My first set of kids. Now, my second set of kids, who I try to avoid all that bullshit with.
You avoided too much.
Yeah, it was totally too much. So it was one extreme or the other. So I taught one set of kids to be assholes, and the other sets of kids to be whiny assholes.
I think there's a certain level of when you struggle, they need to learn from and they need to see. You know, sometimes they need to know that that mommy and daddy got to stretch this paycheck. So
right. You're absolutely right, and that's one thing that Maria and Mackenzie and Dylan saw.
But they also
saw me struggle to make sure bills are paid.
They also don't always need to know the extent of it. They also don't need to know details. There's personal things that they don't that need to be avoided.
What wrong was when Tammy and I fucking broke up. Tammy was a big one to like put our business out to everything, you know. And in that, I see right now. The effect of what I've done in the relationship. I'm not even counting what she's done, because I see that too, but just my own part in that relationship, what it's done to my first set of kids. You know, I see what it's did to Maria. I have made Maria me, a female me. Not good at all. I got my good qualities, but I got a lot more bad ones, and she has them. I see it in Dylan, my son Dylan, you know, in the womanizing. I see it in my daughter Kylie, with the not giving a fuck, you know, because she got the transition phase, that in-between time. I see it in Mackenzie, where she just lets people step on her until she freaks out. That's me. That's my fault.
Here's my question, though, okay? Because especially with our oldest son, okay, we're not divided in the sense of where we think he needs to go, where we're together in vision. But, okay, what he did the other day, I didn't coddle him. I didn't fucking come to his rescue. I didn't, and it was hard. And honestly, and I didn't, like, you can't tell me that's wrong. Listen, you need to shut your mouth.
Yep,
you need to shut your mouth when you're told to shut your mouth. And yeah, that is hard. But because I got my baby boy sitting here crying in front of me. But you know what? You need to shut your mouth when you're told to shut your mouth.
That's it.
Period.
And just like this morning, you know, I had a war at my house for a good 3 hours this morning, from 5 to 8:30, a good 8:30. Like there was a literal war in my house. And when it was over, said and done with, you know, Julia even calmed down. She was like, that she just, you know, she knew she was wrong. You know, Maya might not have realized it because she still thinks, you know, Maya's in her own little thing. But I even said, look, I pulled Maya aside. I'm sorry. When I am wrong, I am wrong. I admit when I'm wrong. This morning, I am not apologizing for what you did or what took place. I'm apologizing for the way I overreacted. But I'm not saying you were right. You know, you do have a freedom of speech, but you don't have a freedom of consequence.
Right.
Not at all. Not at all, whether it be here in this house, whether it be outside in the real world. You know, you do not. And you don't just get shit for free. You know, you're not just going to go somewhere. I'm going to take this because I need it. And you're, you know, right. No. That is the reason why you don't get what you get. All the rest of the kids were allowed to do whatever the fuck they want. My kids went wild. The older ones, they went wild. Because they got the schoolwork done, they got the chores done. But Julia and Maya think that they should be able to do whatever the fuck they want without that.
Now, I fall short, and I'm going to 100% admit it, I fall short when I get to the point where I realize it doesn't matter what the fuck I say. My kid's gonna do it anyways, and I don't want to fight anymore. And that's my weakness. That's my weakness.
On a couple of my kids.
You still need to say no and let him do it anyways. You need to still set the boundary, even though he's going to cross.
And then he's become so fucking good at telling me what he's doing that seems completely on the up and innocent, but not telling me the 100% truth when he's actually doing fuck shit. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Like, okay, like today, he called me, and I guarantee you, this is going to be his excuse because we have no fucking idea where he is. This is going to be the excuse. He called me to tell me while I was at work, which, by the way, he's at home. Fucking deal with him. Oh, well, Dad was taking a nap because he doesn't feel good because he's sick. So I'm calling you because you're the other parent.
I'm asleep all the time. I've heard this.
Okay, I'm another parent. I'm another parent, so they're calling me, and I'm in fucking Pennsylvania at work. I can't do shit, and I have really no idea what's going on. So-and-so needs a hoodie because they don't have a jacket, and I'm going to give it to him, and we're playing ball, and blah, blah, blah.
That hoodie is laying in our driveway, by the way.
And what? Okay, okay, cool. All right, yes, you can give him the hoodie. Click. Here's me. Why the fuck is he even asking me that? Okay, here's why he's asking me that. Because so-and-so isn't at our house like he led me to believe. So-and-so is like on the west side or in Hubbard or in fucking Poland or wherever the fuck he actually wants to go. He just didn't tell me that part.
Yeah,
So-and-so wants this, so I'm going to get it. Okay, so here's me. So then, when he gets confronted with it, he's like, I told Mom, she said it was fine. No, the fuck you didn't tell Mom nothing. You told me you were giving somebody a hoodie. I told you, you said it was fine. You didn't tell me you were going anywhere. No, you said, I told you. And I'm like, no. And then, what he does is, he tells him, Mom said it was okay. So then I get his text, which is like, we're supposed to fucking talk about this shit together, and blah, 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 blah. And I'm like,
not anymore.
I'm at work.
I'm
at fucking work. I don't know what the fuck's happening.
Because we figured out
where we at on time.
You done missed your break by like 15 minutes.
Right,
damn.
We're gonna take a break.
I got to pee again.
I'd rather put this reply off air anyways.
Oh shit. Listen, I don't.
Cody. If it ain't a Don Cody beat, what the fuck are you doing?
It's a Don Cody beat.
We on?
We on.
All right, we
Motherfucking on.
All right, so we had a hell of a ride tonight. It was like a big-ass roller coaster.
Shit.
I only puked 3 times. Hey.
Hey, it's all good. You know, you didn't make a mess. Cleaned it up. So you puke all you want.
I clean up my messes.
That's what I'm saying. That's a good thing.
For sure.
So we're going to wrap this up for tonight. Anything else what did I cover that I want to cover? You know what? Here's something that I want to cover real quick. We're going to end on this. And it really pissed me off because, you know, I touched on it a little bit and then it started going all kind of crazy ways. This bullshit about sweeping issues under the rug. We keep sweeping shit under the rug and, you know, it never gets taken care of. There was a person on the other show tonight that actually brought up the abortion issues. Like, we're in this COVID bill, you know, the little piece of it that's actually going to the people. In this COVID bill, there's money for abortions in other countries. Well, the snowflakes, the liberal guys and Democrats who predominantly run the show, you know, we're so tired of hearing about the abortion. We're so tired of, you know, abortion this, abortion that. No, really. Because, you know why you keep hearing about it? Because nothing's really getting solved about it. You know, it is nobody's right but that woman and sometimes the baby's father, because there's extenuating circumstances. You know, those people are the ones that should be making decisions. You know, I don't believe in abortion, but I do believe that it's a necessary evil. But if you have this kid high-fiving the doctor as it's sliding out, that's murder. That's not an abortion anymore. You know, and I don't give a fuck about women's rights or whatever right there. That kid took a breath of air. That ain't, you know, this is going way past heartbeat. This is going way past brain waves. This is going way past, you know, any of that. That kid took air, and you're allowed now. And these women's rights groups are, you know, going for it. I'll let you get your shit. These women's rights groups are all fucking happy about it. You know, and us conservatives are like, you know, no, we don't want, no, it ain't about we don't want you to, you do what the fuck you do with your body. But when that motherfucker's breathing, I don't give a fuck if it's a kid, if it's a goat, if it's a dog, it's alive. That's murder now. That's murder. That's murder. You know, and if it's not, show your mouth. Show your work. Show your work, because nothing adds up there.
Right.
So
I have some unpopular opinions on abortion.
At least 2. Because she had both hands.
Unpopular opinion. The reason we hear about abortion so very much is because when you hear about something, it's just like when your wife or your husband is nagging you the fuck out of something. It desensitizes you to the actual situation. Like, we hear about abortion so much that most people today kind of be like, yeah, okay, abortion, whatever, and they fucking move on because it doesn't apply to them. Okay, so desensitization is a huge tool in talking about abortion constantly. Second, if you're a Christian, okay, and you believe what actually God's word says, He fucking made you pro-choice. Why? He wanted you to choose Him. Choose Him, serve Him, worship Him. Guess what? Jesus is pro-choice, so get the fuck off my nuts on that, okay? Pro-choice. Does that say abortion is right? No, it says that every person has their ability to say whether or not it's right for them because they have the ability to fucking choose. Period. 3. Wait, no, I forgot what 3 was, but 1 and 2 were really good.
To me, it boils down
All right,
to this.
there you go. I might remember 3, but there you go. 1 and 2 were there.
To me, it boils down to this. It does not matter what my personal opinion on it is at all. The government should not have the right to dictate whether someone can or cannot make that decision for themselves, period.
Right.
It doesn't make a fuck what my
the government,
personal opinion is.
Even the Bible, you know, whatever laws you want.
I agree. There has to be some kind of common sense line drawn at a certain point.
I wish common sense actually existed.
But you know, scientifically, if you really want to look at it, you know, things become alive at cells, whatever. But as far as this issue goes, in my eyes, until it's popped out, you know, that's, you know, then you're alive. But that could pop out, you know, there's much right there. I'm giving the most I can, and I'm against this shit to what? But now they have pushed it way past that. They have pushed it past to the point where that kid could actually be born and put in a fucking tray until the mother decides whether she wants to fucking, you know, keep it alive or not. And I thought that was some bullshit because that came up a year ago. That fucking passed. Now, this is what a lot of people say. Oh, well, no, there's different laws here and there. Now, that became a federal law. But there are also state laws, so state laws can mandate different things. I understand that. But that's just like the fucking legalization of weed, where in this state, you're from this state, and you can smoke weed all you want. But if you have that same legal joint that you bought here and went across the street, which is another state, you could be fucked.
Wait. Here's the thing. Okay, if you are in a horrible accident, okay, and the only thing, and like machines are keeping you alive, and the only thing remotely active is your brain and your heart because of a machine, and you're still considered alive. How is a fetus baby born? If you're born, if the baby passes through, C-section or, you know, vaginal canal or whatever,
in my eyes,
and there is either
you're born.
I agree with you, but
that's where I'm at. But I'm
if you're at that point, no, and I get it, but if you're at that point where the woman is pushing, there's fucking either emergency C-section or fucking pushing happening. Okay, how is that baby any different than you were just in a horrible car accident and blah, blah, blah?
That's exactly what I'm saying.
How? At any point, because even at 24 weeks, look it the fuck up. You have a heartbeat like 3 weeks in. Heartbeat. Which one is it? Is life heartbeat? Is it brain activity? That may be like 5 or 6 weeks. But either way, both of those things are before most women even know they're pregnant. Okay, so you have this heartbeat brain activity happening inside your body. And you're going to say, because, my life isn't all together yet, and I don't know how I'm going to do this, I'm just going to fucking have an abortion. Or, no, let me just go to the extreme. I was raped. This is traumatic. I can't fucking handle this. I'm going to kill the life inside of me. Because obviously it was that fault. No, it wasn't that life's fault that happened to you. And so, can I just say to America, grow the motherfuck up. Grow up. What the fuck? Grow up. Put it up for adoption. I don't care. I'm seriously from a woman who's had kids. Grow the fuck up. I have been raped. I understand rape. So don't come at me with, I was made pregnant by being raped. I was raped. Give the child up if you can't deal. But fucking move the goddamn on. Like, what the fuck?
See, that's where I kind of bury
there
the
you
whole
go.
thing.
That's my opinion as a female.
My opinion, in my own eyes, the way I feel is, when the sperm, hits the egg, once it meets up, that's life. But in a social, real world, political, whatever, I give it a breath, but, there was a line there, whether Republicans or conservatives, like abortion or not, there was a line there. There was a deadline. And it was a decent line there. But they fought and fought and fought to pretty much do this in the name of women's rights, women's health, women's right to choose. Now, I think that's bullshit. I think they had a line. It was a balance. Again, whether you like it or not, none of my business. Ain't nobody else's business. But as far as like Joyce was saying, I may sound contradictory, but it's just in the balance of being equal. Again, the woman's right is the woman's right, to a certain extent, and we made that boundary whether it was right or wrong, and they fought to make it way extreme, and they got it. But, and like I said before, the only two people that should decide on that, whether that life should be created or not, fuck the religion, are that mother and sometimes the father.
If he's around, if he's...
Well, in the rape sense, then that father does not get a choice whether that kid stays alive.
There's situations where he shouldn't. There's situations where he's not going to be. But like if there are situations where, yeah.
I know girls, and friends of my daughters. I've just known people who have had abortions for different reasons, and some of them have regretted it, and some of them still to this day, it has fucked with them, and the other ones just rolled the fuck on.
Right, and right,
and right or wrong, that is none of my fucking business.
Right, but see. People need to also not be shamed into telling the story where they wish they made a different decision, because even though it's okay, hey, you made this decision for you and you're okay with it, people do need to know that even though that you really need to think long and hard, because even though right this second you may feel this way,
there who just don't give a fuck.
Right.
But there's a lot of them that they went through some shit.
I'm just saying that needs equal coverage as well before people make a decision. I'm not picking a side. You know what I mean? I'm just saying, it's like any decision. You need all of the information available in order to make an educated decision.
And as a female, if you are a female that is pregnant and the daddy of that baby wants the baby and you don't, you need to shut the fuck up and you need to have that baby and give that baby to the daddy, because
I agree with
don't
that.
be a selfish bitch.
I agree.
Maybe you don't want to have a baby, but that
dad is capable of being a dad, then fucking let him be a dad.
Right. You can't take that away from dads.
There's a lot
and
of
dads are fucked up so much in our society. So child support and courts and divorce and everything. Dads are fucked to the extreme with babies. Period. That's all I gotta say.
All right.
It's wrong.
Well, with that being said, this was What the Fuck Wednesday.
Woo!
Thank you for this roller coaster
ride. The motherfuck?
Shout out to the Little Yellow Bus. Shout out to Eargasm. Shout out to fucking John Dante. Shout out to who else the fuck? Everybody, go on our fucking Upside Down Studios Facebook page and check us the fuck out.
Obsidian Earth.
Obsidian Earth, always.
Social 22.
Paul Goon.
Social 22. Yep. Paul Goon. Hell
hey,
yeah.
I did that.
Motherfucking Paul Goon.
Hey.
Don Cody. Motherfucking Don Cody and DC
Don Cody.
Media. Did I say John Dante?
Took a nap from the
John
lily
Dante, check
pad.
him out.
Yep.
Clapped his
Like I
wings
said,
and
take
said,
your ass
I'm
over to the fucking
glad.
Upside Down Studios page. Check us out. That being said, y'all be safe.
Be a
Open
parent,
your
don't be a
eyes,
dick.
And, yeah.
That's
Be a
from
parent, don't be a dick.
Jizzois. What the
Yeah,
fuck is that
Jizzois.
bullshit?
That's the
Jizzois.
quote of the night. Be a parent, don't be a dick.
Be a parent, don't be a dick.
Yeah, I was the dick this morning. I knew.
No, you're a parent.
All right, good
Don't
night,
get
y'all.
that twisted.
I started off there and I ended up dickish.